much money and not what we're living on. Now I can show you the world, but private aeroplane.
Recorded live from the engine room at Broad Ripple, this is the Voices of Indy podcast hosted by Josh Gillespie. Voices of Indy is a show dedicated to giving you the opportunity to know the musical, visual, and theatrical arts of Indianapolis, Indiana. This week's guest is Tay Bronson. Tay was the bassist and principal songwriter for the 90s Midwestern alternative rock band Push Down and Turn. Bronson got to live his dreams until the band decided to take a hiatus in 2003. At that time, the lifelong Indiana-based musician turned his time and focus to raising his daughter and continuing to build upon his life experiences, which all started to pour out into his debut album, the 12-song Drinks and Memories, which is out everywhere now. Ladies and gentlemen, Tay Bronson. Tay, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Josh. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. We're doing this all over again because I did a false start. But I
wasn't going to tell anyone.
I wasn't either. But you know what? People have to know that sometimes this isn't a perfect podcast.
It happens.
It does happen. But the first time that I got to meet you, although not the first time I got to see you,
right?
Although I didn't know it at the time,
right?
But the first time I got to meet you was at Moondrops Distillery at your Songwriters in the Round, which you host every month.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So attention all Indy area songwriters, or however far you'd like to drive. I host a writers round at Moondrops Distillery out in Fortville. Amazing place, amazing brews. Mark Presley, the proprietor, is a very good friend of mine, and he was the guy that used to show up at the golf outings with the little mason jar full of that lemon drop moonshine. Mm-hmm. And then by the seventh hole, you're like, well, which ball should I try and hit? The one in the middle, I imagine. I host a writers round out there on the first Thursday of every month. Mm-hmm. So go out there and find me at Tay Bronson Music on Facebook or Tay Bronson on Instagram, and just shoot me a message. I'll check your stuff out. That's kind of how you try out. And then I just bring you out and put you on the stage, and we tell a little something about why we wrote the song and play it. And, you did it.
I did do it. You had me out in February, and it was a blast. An absolute blast.
You had John Gilmore out there with you.
John Gilmore and Kelly Ray Yates.
Yes. It was a very talented group.
Oh, my goodness. I felt like I was the odd man out there.
It was colder than all get out that day. And we had a really poor turnout, but we have turned the corner.
Oh, really?
I think everybody figured out where Moondrops is. Mm-hmm. Everybody figured out what Songwriters Night's about. So we're really having some good turnouts. So if you got some good stuff, guys, we put you in front of some people. Now we pass the hat to to pay the performers. Mm-hmm. But
I appreciate that. I know.
But man, the stage is all yours, and it's dead quiet. It's a listening experience. It's a listening room, and Mark's really held true to that. Mark and Rachel's the bar manager, held true to that out there, and the audience is always very attentive and very appreciative. So
they were the week that I was there, even though it was a small crowd. I mean, weather can always plays an impact on these things, but the audience was engaged, and it was really neat to talk to them afterwards and just kind of get their feedback on what they're hearing, and
that's all we want as a songwriter, right?
Right.
You just want someone to listen and tell you, hey, I really like this or that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the place for it. So reach out, find me.
Yes, find Tay Bronson.
I'll put you on a night, and we'll get you out there.
Yeah, we connected via Instagram. So I'd say that's truly check Tay Bronson out. He is a man of his word. He will have you out there, and it is a worthwhile experience.
And I just do this because, when I was trying to come back into things, and I had a lot of songs I wanted to play, there were guys like Chris Wolf and out there doing this for people, and I just do it to help my fellow brethren become better songwriters and get their stuff out there and have a platform to do it. To me, it's kind of like that's my penance I pay for the art of songwriting, right? For the gift of songwriting.
Sure. Yeah.
I have to give back into it.
No, you do. I totally get that because as a songwriter myself, and I also host a monthly event called the Coffee, Comedy, and Music Series,
Yeah.
which you'll be playing.
Yes.
Which
October?
I believe it is October. Very excited about that.
But he
And
sent me a text when I was really busy or something.
yeah, I probably did.
He's probably canceled me by now. To heck with this guy.
No. So before we get even more into that and into the musical background that you have, tell us a little bit about Tay Bronson. About yourself. How did you get into music, and what led you to join?
I'm 6'2.5". I have blue eyes, and I like long parks and walk. Or long walks at a park. I don't know. Something like that.
Well, around here we don't have any beaches, so
Tried something like that. It's like a bad 90s dating video.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, do you remember the show Mad TV?
Yeah.
They had a segment called Lowered Expectations.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what I'm thinking here. This is Lowered Expectations.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in Harrison, Ohio, and ended up going to DePaul University on a music scholarship. I was a trumpet major.
No way.
Yeah, and so I made the jazz band my freshman year. I tried out on trumpet, and our band director was like, "Yeah, man, there's lots of seniors been playing their horns for like 8 hours a day for years, so you're probably not going to make it."
Wow.
I saw you're signed up a second time out there. Is that a mistake? And I'm like, "No, I'm coming in and trying out on bass." So I brought the bass in and played a little Route 66 and whatnot. And he goes,
"Nice.
Congratulations, Tay. You just made the jazz band." So I played bass on a few songs and trumpet on a few songs. Sophomore year, these guys roll in, this guitar player and drummer roll in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we stick around and start jamming after jazz band. And that was Sam King and Matt DeVore of Push Down Turn.
Nice.
And then the first guy I met the first day I moved into DePaul was Jason Barth, because I was like loading into DePaul, and this guy's playing like the final countdown on this keyboard. And I run in there like, "Dude, I play bass." That was the best man speech I gave at his wedding. "Dude, I play bass." And so we all just started jamming, and I think the Chosen Few or something kind of came and played a fraternity party, and we're watching all these girls just oogle over the Chosen Few,
Yeah.
And we're like, we could do this.
Yeah.
So we did.
That's fantastic.
Push Down Turn was created. So that's
wow. Back in college.
So that's that. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter who plays varsity basketball for Carmel, and her AAU club. We just got back from Cincinnati. They just won some huge tournament.
Oh, wow.
In Cincinnati, and 52 teams, and they won the damn thing.
Oh, congratulations to her.
She's on cloud 9. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that was pretty much the whole month of July, and now I'll be back playing some shows in August and September, and got a bunch of stuff coming up. But I kind of have to take that.
We'll spread that out.
Middle of summer, off to do the travel basketball thing.
Oh, no, no, you kind of have to.
Only got one more year of that, and then it's
then are you going to go full time touring
gone.
yourself?
Well, I mean, she'll be aged, she'll be past it. Like I was like to complain about it for the last, however many years she's been doing it.
What if she plays in college?
And, well, we're hoping. I'll run up there and watch her play in wherever she is. I'll get tickets and drive up there. Yeah. You bet.
Yeah. So Push Down Turn formed in college.
Yeah.
Which to me is wild.
91.
91?
91, yeah.
You guys had some pretty good success.
Yeah, we had a lot of success. We were on we had 4 albums and a demo EP, and we got stuff on Cool Cigarette nationwide compilations, Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah.
Remember when you go in there and there's annoying songs playing way too loud?
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, that was you.
One of them was us. Yeah, we were on the Horde tour. We won the Cool Cigarettes band competition thing, and we were on 4 dates of the Horde tour.
That is
in
awesome.
'97.
That is awesome. Which dates were they?
Neil Young.
Because Because I went to that tour.
The New Jersey Neil Young Crazy Horse was the headliner.
Yeah, that was in Indianapolis. He was the headliner.
So we were up at New Jersey was the first stop, and you had this pass that said "Feed me," and all the bands went into this thing and they fed you.
Yeah.
So we were like the first band on the side stage, at like 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
There's like, 200 people there or something. And we play all sweaty and they're like, "Hey, we're going to go over here and get seats for so-and-so." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to go get some food in my stomach before I start doing that." And so I go in there and these guys walk up and they're like, "Hey man, mind if we sit here?" It was Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Oh, that is fantastic.
And they were like, "What outfit are you with?" Because clearly I've got the long hair and I'm sweating. And
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
my stage stuff on. I was like, "I'm with Push Down and Turn." And the bass player goes, "Oh, I just caught your set out here on the side stage." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, you guys are really tight." And I'm just sitting there like, I'm eating
Glenn
lunch with
Phillips.
Glenn Phillips.
He caught your
I'm
set.
like freaking sitting here, just blah, blah. I'm just eating. And so I'm like, okay, nice. And I literally, all I wanted to do was tell the guys that Toad the Wet Sprocket was eating over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, awesome. And I shook their hand. And this is before we carried cell phones, so you get a selfie
Yeah.
and everything,
Oh.
I run across the thing and find the guys. I'm like, "Hey, dudes, I just had lunch with Toad the Wet Sprocket." They're like, "Oh, you're drunk, man. Whatever. What are you talking about?" No. Nobody believed me,
Oh.
but I did.
That is a great story.
It was a great story.
That is a great story. So how now I saw you guys when I was in college.
Yeah.
And I don't did you play the Indianapolis World Tour by any chance?
Yeah, we did. We played that show. We were out on the second stage there too.
Yeah.
Played
I may
the
have
New
seen
Jersey date, Chicago World Theater,
Oh.
Indy. I think there was St. Louis maybe. I think there was 4 dates. I can't remember.
Now that was a
Must have been blacked out at one.
Now that was a great show in Indianapolis. I remember that one because
Yeah. Primus was on that.
Yeah, Primus, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
I was drooling over Les Claypool's rig because they had so many bands. Everybody's rig was on rolly carts, completely set up with instruments on it. So there's Les's stacks of his gear, speakers, and then his basses, and he's got these custom whatever. So I'm just standing there and there's like drool coming out.
One of the world's best bass
I just
players.
hear this behind me, "Sup, dude?" And I turned around, he's got on the freaking Bug
Yep.
that he had for that video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, hey, I was just, I gotta go."
So you can tell the guys you lunched with Toad the Wet Sprocket, and Les Claypool comes up behind you and starts talking to you.
And I felt like I was like ogling his girlfend or something. You know what I mean? I was really uncomfortable. Like, "Oh, I was looking at your girl. Sorry, man.
I was just looking at your faces.
I'm out of here."
Now, I remember that him specifically at Indianapolis, because I don't think they still have it, but back in the 90s when you would go to Deer Creek, and you'd go in, I guess the front gate.
Right.
And they had like a little stage off to the side.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think I really ever paid attention to whoever was on that stage, if there ever was anybody on that stage when I went past it for previous shows. But I'm walking past it and I look over and I'm like, "That's Les Claypool."
He
was just jamming by. I mean, I don't think he wasn't doing any Primus stuff. He was just being a cool dude and just playing on his guitar, on his bass, and no one was really paying attention.
No. Why?
And he was in this audacious looking purple velvet suit. It looked like purple velvet. That's what my mind remembers. I don't know if it was or not. But I look over and I'm like, I think that's Les Claypool.
Yeah.
But I just keep on walking because I couldn't believe that Les Claypool would be playing that tiny little stage.
Yeah, it sounds like something he would do.
Yeah. But I saw you guys when you were a last-minute opener for the Counting Crows at Purdue University in 1997.
Yep.
And the band Dog's Eye View was
Dog's Eye View. I
Yes.
I kept wanting to call it Poi Dog Pondering, but it was Dog's Eye View.
Dog's Eye View, because Dog's Eye View still plays with them.
They were cutting their video that week.
Oh,
so
really?
So they cutting a music video, so they couldn't make the show.
Well, so how does that whole thing happen? I mean, like, how
Well,
does...
we were, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we were, somehow the folks at Purdue really like push down turns. So we played Slater Slammer like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Bodines and so we got the call and it was like, hey, can you? And we actually had a gig that night at the Bluebird in Bloomington. We didn't tell them that. We didn't tell people that. Like, yeah, we'll open. So the funny story about that thing is that came, we're like, yeah, we're doing this. So, you know, be there at 1:00, just in case, whatever. Show starts at, I don't know, 7. You're the opener, whatever. Well, we show up, we wait on them to finish whatever. Adam Duritz is out there in the piano sound checking, and there's a knock at the back door. I'm just happened to be standing by this stage door in the back of the stage. There's this knock. I'm like,
you're always at the right place at the right time.
And I open it, and it's my sister, and it's alumni band weekend. She marched in the
Purdue
marching band.
Okay, yeah.
So she's out there with her Purdue band jacket on and a hat and her saxophone and all that stuff. And she's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, shh, you know, I'm just trying to be quiet here because the Counting Crows are sound checking. Be cool in your band jacket, sister. And
I know
there's this line of females sitting waiting
just for Adam Duritz.
For Adam Duritz. He was dating Jennifer Aniston at the time.
I think it was Courtney Cox.
One of them.
One of the friends.
And they're all standing at the bus waiting to meet Adam Duritz. And when I open the door, you know, and the long hair and all comes out, they all get quiet and they turn and look at me. And my sister catches wind of this and says, oh, ladies, he's nobody. It's just my little brother.
Oh.
Yeah?
Dude, she hosed you.
Totally. Right?
She hosed you. Anyway, Not cool.
It was all right.
That's pretty funny, though.
It's a good story, though.
That's a pretty funny
But
story.
we hung out. Sam, our guitar player, Sam, and their guitar player and their original bass player, who's no longer with them anymore, hung out in their dressing room drinking Rolling Rock and playing on acoustic guitars all afternoon, just playing the Who, the Stones, whatever. And they enjoyed it so much. And when I walked out, we were getting ready to warm up, and the bass player took me over and said, hey, Tay, this is, I can't remember his name, our guitar tech. And he goes, Tay's welcome to use any of my, because I played Ernie Ball and he played Ernie Ball. He says, Tay's welcome to use any of my guitars if he needs them. I go, oh, man, thank you so much. But I think I better dance with the girl that brought me.
Yeah.
And so, but man, he had some,
but that's so cool.
I was like, yeah, cool. So long story short, we ended up killing this, I don't know, 45-minute opener or something.
It was a solid set.
It was a solid set.
It was so good.
And we got a standing O. And we walked off, and there's the guys from the Crows all standing there. And they're, one more song. And I'm like, we got to go play another gig. And they're like, no, you're not. You guys have to go play another song. And I'm like, are you shitting me? And they go, yeah, go play another song for them. Well, I mean, we'd already like, what do we do now? Like, we really played a great set and all our stuff. So it's like, all right, what's the second to worst thing we got left we can play? So we played another one and then packed up and got us. We didn't even get to watch the Crows, man. What a bummer, because you could have watched the Crows from the side stage. We had to go play this stupid gig at the
Bluebird.
At the Bluebird for about 12 people in the first set. And it was like, just brought you right back down to, no, this is who you really are.
Yeah. So, man, what a story. Because I remember that show vividly. And the Counting Crows blew the roof off Elliott Hall.
They did.
And they like they were playing their electric set and they broke it down into this kind of, I don't know, circus tent kind of setup, and
Yeah, I
I
caught
don't
all
know how
that.
to, yeah, but it was
We caught most of that in sound check, luckily.
oh,
But
so good. I mean,
yeah,
that show was amazing, and I remember you guys, you put on a hell of a show.
no, thanks. Yeah,
And that was, and I remember thinking like because I had heard of you, but I hadn't seen you. I don't think I had
oh,
seen you beforehand.
well,
Maybe I
good.
did. Maybe I caught your set
Yeah, I
at
mean,
Horde show, at Horde tour. Um, but it's like in Indiana, I felt like there were competing bands for people's attention, and it was the Y Store and Push Down and Turn.
yeah,
And I don't
there's a
know if that
few
was.
others.
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was actually true. Like, but if there was like Bad Blood or whatever like that, between.
no,
But it seemed like for the battle for like who was going to make it big in Indiana was like the Y Store, Push Down and Turn. I honestly can't remember anybody else. It was,
right.
but I believe that there were other bands out there,
Yeah,
but I just remember you two guys.
there's a lot. Yeah, actually, it's funny because Jeff Peterson, was the keyboard player in the Y Store, his daughter and my daughter play basketball together.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. So and they've been doing it for several years. So we're sitting there watching, sixth graders play basketball, and
Yeah.
Jeff and I are swapping road stories in the bleachers at halftime.
That's the best way to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
you have so many stories. So what led to
and
and you
10-year run, man. It was
that
a
was
long run.
that was a long run and a very productive run.
Yeah.
To get featured on a bunch of different samplers. You were on featured in General Hospital.
Oh
which,
yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of songs played. Like yeah, we got a lot of songs on there, and
which hold on, for you kids who don't know what General Hospital is,
well, I think
is it
what's the
still
gen-
on?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
It was a soap opera, or is a soap
I
opera.
think General Hospital is the only one we weren't on.
Really? No, because I read your bio. General Hospital is mentioned specifically.
Okay. Well, we got played in like 13 countries and whatever, and we sounded a lot like the Counting Crows or Matchbox 20,
Mm-hmm.
but we weren't.
No.
So we'd wrap these songs up, and this group was this lady and her husband were a songwriter or something. They
Mhm.
started this thing where they were just doing that, like finding songs for them to play on the soaps. So those would come in. The funny thing is we'd like hung it up, and they were still.
Oh, you were still getting residuals off those shows, huh?
And they were still playing us, yeah. And these checks were, and then I think we were broken up, and we sent them our video,
Mhm.
and so they faked like there was a CD release party at the CD store, and so they played our video in the television screen in the corner of the store. So we all got performance royalties on that check.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, and the check comes rolling in. It's like, where were you? And I was like, down and out, man. Where was that? Cheese.
So I gotta ask, what led to, if it's okay to talk about, what led to the hiatus?
But well, we just we were
Getting older, having kids, and
we were if you remember, we were shopping for labels,
Mhm.
and we were going to New York like every couple of months and playing for industry people.
Oh man, that had to be so
so
much
we
pressure.
played with Homunculus up there, Brad Blackwater. What was I can't Blackwater Surprise? What's the my dad. Anyway,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and God, there was like 3 or 4, and they were like national acts,
Mhm.
and we would open, and there was industry people there, and then we were Robert Bradley's Blackwater Surprise. That's what
That's
they're
it. Yeah.
called. And yeah, so at that time, like all of a sudden, it became not cool to be on a major label.
Oh.
So all the major labels says, "Oh, we have to disguise ourselves."
Yep.
So everybody
yeah.
broke off into subsidiaries and called themselves
Something else.
Wheat Germ Records, and they were really owned by
Warner or Sony.
RCA or Warner,
Yeah.
Sony, whoever.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that we were talking to and working with no longer had positions as A&R reps.
Ah.
And it was just kind of like, are you kidding me?
You got that far,
And then, yeah, and we had some crappy offers, but just didn't,
just didn't work out.
Didn't work out.
That's too bad, because you guys were, again, in my limited experience, amazingly awesome. You could.
We had a lot of talent in that band. Sam King is just, he plays everywhere. Sam's just a sweet fella and just has the sweetest voice. Jason Brown's out there playing by himself. He's playing bass in a couple of bands now. He's amazing. Jason Barth, he can not play his keyboards for 3 months at a time. And you're like, hey man, do you want to get together and jam? And he's just amazing. And Matt, our drummer, he's just solid. Like, he played all those years with a click track.
Really?
So when he came in on Drinks and Memories, I think I told you track, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But he laid that beat down, and, Eric Johnson was like, look at this. Look at this. He didn't, usually you take the best 8 bars of that pattern, and then you get it all lined up, right? And he was like, look at them. They're all exactly the same. Because Matt was, he's used to playing with that metronome, so he was locked in. And so that's comforting. And they're family, So you just and play with those guys. It always feels good.
Yeah. Well, you've since you took some time off.
Yeah, did that.
But you finally started getting back into music about 2016. Yeah. What kind of and you're doing something different now than what you did with Push Down and Turn. You're really kind of into the country and Americana vibe.
Yeah.
Which, I dig your stuff. I'm not a country fan, but I kind of dig your stuff because, it has kind of that country feel, but it doesn't at the same time. It's very accessible, but it's not.
I like that word.
It's not
accessible.
Pop country. Thank you.
Right.
It's not that.
No.
So thank you for that.
I'm not pop country.
You are not pop country, but it
not
has
real twang country.
It's not twang country, but you got the stories of twang country.
Yes. And that's what I like about it. And that's what I wish that I could go back to the young Tay and just quit trying to reinvent the wheel, man. And I felt that the country thing, when I jumped into it, I don't have to worry about it. It's commonplace in traditional country and traditional folk and bluegrass. This is how it goes. And so you just take that, like the blues.
Yeah.
It's traditional in the blues. You do the same thing and the chord progression, and you do it. So I think it takes all that out, and I just start writing what I feel, and then it comes along and they turn into great songs, and I'm like, hey, this is great.
Yeah.
This is fun. This is what it's about.
What has the experience been like for you?
Well,
I
kind of got back into it. I lost my father in 2016 to cancer, and I was been writing a couple things, but they're kind of whatever. And I think that as he left this earth, the angels dropped this thing in my lap, and I wrote it all out that night in a hotel room, and I had this killer song, and I played it at his funeral, and I played it for some people, and they're like, wow. So what are you doing? What is so important in your life that you're not writing songs every day? And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I love this. So I just kept writing, and I had a whole great batch of songs. I went in and started the Drinks and Memories with Eric Johnson at the Pop Machine, and it was me and a guitar. And then it was like, we did it backwards. We did the vocals and guitar.
Yeah.
And then, do we need something else on this? Well, let's bring a drummer in. Well, let's bring the steel player in. Well, let's bring in. And it was like, I was playing that song, track 5.
Yeah.
Friend Zone, it's called.
Yeah.
We've all been friend zoned. I brought the boys from Push Down Turn in, and in like 2 hours
on your album.
It was like 2 hours, and it sounded just like a Push Down Turn song, and the same guys, the same sound. It was so much fun.
That is so cool. I mean, to have, and I mean, because you guys are like family.
Yeah.
And even though it had probably been a while since you played together,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like putting on an old pair of shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
it's like you know what to expect.
I think I was best man at Jason's wedding and at Sam's wedding and in the wedding party on all of them. I mean, you know what I mean? That's pretty high status, I think.
Yeah. No, that is. I mean, come on. We could talk all day about bands that have, you know, had
had that.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That have had people come in and out or just had histories of.
Yeah, we were kind of like, we're all doing this, or it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I felt for Tom Petty, you know, when they like told him like, hey, we like you and your guitar player, but you need to.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Well, yeah, when
like,
Mudcrutch was.
Yeah.
That was. I read one of the bios, probably many bios, of Tom Petty, and hearing that story, like
that's pretty. Yeah.
That I mean, they made it all the way out to California. They'd already even recorded a demo, and you know, good
for those guys. Anyway, he came back and made an album with Mudcrutch anyway. After the fact, so that's pretty cool.
Just like you made another song with Push Down and Turn, but it's on a Tay Bronson album.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do some more, but I don't know. We just got busy with life and whatever. But we were gonna try and do another reunion show and.
Could there be
maybe record another song?
What?
And put it out there on the streaming social.
You should do that because I was looking earlier. You can't find any Push Down and Turn stuff online, can you?
Yeah, I took it down. It was on not CD Baby. What's the other one?
TuneCore or
TuneCore.
Okay, yeah.
And they were charging us yearly residuals.
Oh.
And with 5 albums, it was costing me hundreds of dollars a year.
Yeah,
and I was like, hey guys, I just paid another whatever, and they're all like, yeah. Nobody was paying me back, so I'm like, so I flushed it. So I need to put them back up on CD Baby. It's just like,
well, if you
life happens.
No, I get it. Yeah, but if you guys are gonna record again, absolutely put those old albums back up.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll get them up there. Look for it. They're coming.
I gotta put you on the spot here. Tay Bronson said on Voices of Indy.
I'll get them on there.
That
Clark, we got to get these on there.
Yeah. Push Down and Turn is going to return to streaming.
Yes.
Well, let's take a quick break and listen to a couple of songs that you're going to perform for us. What's the name of the first song?
First song is Might Just Think Again.
Might Just Think Again.
It's about my 2 greatest pet peeves on this earth. Is driving slow in the passing lane and leaving your shopping cart out in somebody's parking spot so you can't pull into it.
Oh, yes. So love it. And we will talk about that song and your second song once we come back.
Sounds great.
So we'll be right back after this. But before we listen to these wonderful songs by Tay, I want to talk to you about Indianapolis Independent Entertainment. They are this week's sponsor, as they are every week's sponsor, and they are sponsoring this particular segment. And IIE aims to help local DIY artists, freelancers, and businesses within Indianapolis by establishing a network of creatives who can connect with each other to generate more paying opportunities. Their goal is to eliminate some of the intimidating barriers within the entertainment industry and expand the local art and music scenes in Indianapolis. Interested individuals can learn more about IIE by visiting their website, indyent.com. That's INDYINDIEENT.com, and fill out a free application to discuss how you and IIE can redefine making it together. We'll be back right after this performance from Tay Bronson.
This is called Might Just Think Again. I saw a special kind of person leave a shopping cart in an empty parking space at my local grocery mart. Well, some might call it lazy and others disrespect. But if we meet again, well, there's some things you might expect. I like my soda from the fountain, and my coffee from a can. That's a little information about the kind of man I am. I'm good at pleasant conversation, and I'm known to lend a hand. But if you think you know me, well, you might just think again. So a couple days later, I saw him on the road. Yeah, he was in the left lane, but he was driving way too slow. So I flashed him with my headlights. I tried to pass him on the right, but he just rolled his window down, and his bird took flight. I like my soda from a fountain, and my coffee from a can. That's a little information about the kind of man I am. I'm good at pleasant conversation, and I'm known to lend a hand. But if you think you know me, well, you might just think again. So I pulled off at the exit, and he followed close behind. Then he got out of his car and started marching up to mine. It was getting pretty late. Yeah, well, after the sun had set. That's been 20 years ago, and they still ain't found him yet. I like my soda from the fountain, and my coffee from a can. That's a little information about the kind of man I am. I'm good at pleasant conversation, and I'm known to lend a hand. But if you think you know me, well, you might just think again. Yeah, if you think you crossed me, well, you might just think again. Come on, everybody, let's sing along. Hi-de, 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 hi. Oh-de, 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 oh. Yippee-ki-yay, that's the way I roll. I had a cousin getting married, and a lady that was really wanting a song about her or us, and I came up with this one. It's called Trips Around the Sun. When the day has been too heavy to carry on my own, sweating for every penny that I bring home. I dreamt of a better life traveling overseas, but that's not the life that I devised for you and me. May in the mountains, Paris in July. There's no place better than a place called you and I. When we're together, you and me. There's nowhere else on earth that I'm supposed to be. You and me, we make it fun and take our trips around the sun. Fancy cars and caviar and Dom Perignon. The signs are too much money and not what we're living on. Now I can't show you the world by private aeroplane, but I can show you that my love for you will never change. Mayan Mountain, Paris in July. There's no place better than a place called you and I. When we're together, you and me, there's nowhere else on earth that I'm supposed to be. You and me, we make it fun and take our trips around the sun. Mayan Mountain, Paris in July. There's no place better than a place called you and I. When we're together, just you and me, there's nowhere else on God's green earth I'd rather be. You and me, we make it fun and take our trips around the sun. You and me, we make it fun and take our trips around the sun.
And this segment was brought to you by the Engine Room Recording Company. They are located in Broad Ripple Village, just north of downtown Indianapolis, and they specialize in making your projects go. Podcasters, bands, audiobookers, rappers, singers, songwriters, and everyone in between, the Engine Room Recording Company has the experience, the engineers, the equipment, and the environment to fuel your projects. Check out Broad Ripple's recording studio by visiting for more information on their services, artists they've recorded, and gear they have at engineroomrecordingcompany.com. And be sure to visit their Instagram page by searching up at Engine Room Recording Co. And welcome back. We are here with Tay Bronson. He just played for us a couple of fantastic songs.
Thank you.
And these are new ones.
Yeah.
These are not ones that you will find on Drinks and Memories.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about the first song. I know you talked a bit about it going into it.
Uh-huh.
There are a couple of lines in there that really made me laugh.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do.
And but that song talks about your annoyances.
Yeah,
A couple of annoyances.
yeah, yeah. I went to I met a lot of cool people. We'll talk about the Red Lodge Songwriter Festival and Yellowstone Songwriter Festival.
Please do. I definitely want to talk about that.
One of them is this great songwriting talent, Jackson Emmer, who happened to be playing a show in his hometown of Carbondale, Colorado, and this lady comes up and says, "I know Tom Paxton. I'm going to bring him to one of your shows," and he's like, "Okay, well, whatever." So a few months, a year later, or whatever, a few months later, Jackson's playing a show, and Tom Paxton walks up and sits in the front row.
Oh, wow.
And watches him play,
Mm-hmm.
Tom was credited in the 60s with telling his roommate Bob Dylan that he really should start writing his own songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tom.
That was some
Tom
life-changing
has
advice.
things on the streaming platforms that have millions of,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
look him up. So Jackson had a retreat close to Carbondale in Glenwood Springs at this little bed and breakfast, had this cool old barn. And we went in and we did a songwriting workshop for 3 days with Tom and Jackson. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And, I met a couple other, there's a song on the new album coming out that I wrote with another songwriter that I met there at the thing. So that's,
no way.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was super cool. And, where was I going with the story? What did you ask me?
I was just, we were talking about the song,
Yeah. And so they said in this thing like, hey, it's like sailing a boat. Like, we can't teach you how to sail a boat until you push off from the dock.
Ah.
Right. And so I was getting a soda fountain on my way to, I think I was going to Metamora to play the Opry Barn or something. And I'm like, and I'm getting this. And then, my girlfriend was at times with me and I was like, hey, let's, like, man, I really like my soda from a fountain. And then I was like, and my coffee from a can, and then it was, I had no idea where I was going with it.
Yeah.
Well, when I was out there at the festivals, everybody's like, man, let's all play our murder ballads. And I'm like, what? What's a murder ballad? And so I had this, I was stuck in this, I have a soda from a fountain and my coffee from a can. That's a little information about the kind of man I am.
That's not a murder ballad.
And I'm like, that's not a murder ballad at all. And I'm like, where am I going with this? And all of a sudden I was like, oh, yeah, I'm all happy because I'm freaking crazy, man. And I will kill you. So I set it up. This guy, he comes out, he leaves his shopping cart. And then I try to pass him. There he is. He's in the car. And then he gives me the bird. And then I pull off and he's like coming after me. And I'm like, I'm crazy, man. I like my soda from a fountain. So that was a fun one to write. Those are fun when they come like that.
That is because I was listening to you sing it and I was just like, well, that's a new song. I haven't heard that one before. But you really got to pay attention to it because it is a story. Yeah. And it's got a couple of zingers in there that, it
does. And I like to do that, and especially when you're just out and people are like, when you're the guy in the corner of the winery or whatever, and then you'll just see somebody like, they'll be in conversation and they'll be like, and then they'll tell her like, wait a minute, shut up, listen, I want to listen to this guy. It's funny. So it's fun. I like to do that. That's, if I'm having a good time writing it, then I feel like, okay, the audience is going to enjoy it. Right.
Right.
And that's what it is. Like I have another song that's going on the new album, Bad Apple, which we're working on. I wrote with my songwriter buddy, Jerry Woodbine. He used to write songs with, and Push Down Turn. And, during the pandemic, many of us, fell to some of our demons or whatever. And, maybe some of us, have a little too much to drink and then go shop online and forget that we ordered things and it would just show up at the house randomly. And so,
is this a confession, Tay?
Well, he came out, he was like, yeah, I'm going to come. He was in town. He's like, I'm in town. I'm going to take you to your gig. I'm going to drive you there just like old times. And we're like carrying the stuff out of my garage. And he goes, why in the world do you have so many electrical butt connectors? And I was just like, well, I might have ordered too many on Amazon one night. And he goes, oh, BQ. He calls me BQ. That's a song. So we came back the next day, woke up. I had two, like a Friday night, a Saturday night deal. And we wrote this song all day and we laughed so hard. It's called Drunk Shopping. We laughed so hard and just had a great time. So I don't really care if anybody enjoys it as much as we had so much fun writing it. Whatever. And that's when I really, that's again, something that I realized, why did I ever just stop? I just enjoy writing songs so much. Yeah. And I wish I would have had the the wherewithal as a younger man to just write it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be. I just threw so much stuff away. I was like, this isn't going to be good. And I just give up on it. I think I felt pressure from,
well, sure. No, I can
the whole
understand that.
entity of the push down going, and there is none now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the driving force, and so we're working. So Drinks and Memories is out. It's available on all streaming platforms. We're in the studio with the Tackle Box.
Yes, your band.
The Tackle Box, and we are. I just with like Willard's song about fishing and all that, and
that's a beautiful song, by the way.
Thank you.
It's
done a lot for me. It got me to I was a finalist in the Red Lodge Songwriter Festival. So I met a bunch of great guys there, a bunch of great songwriters that are still my friends and cohorts. And then last May, I took it down to a little music festival in Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and I won. Got a little plaque.
No way.
Yeah.
For Willard's song?
Yeah. Won a songwriting contest. Finally. It wasn't anything major though, but anyway.
Still, that's there's some sort of validation to that, but I mean,
I drove like 7 hours through the mountains, and slept 2 nights in a tent.
Oh wow, wow! And then I'm going to say you deserved it.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah,
we kind of made a vacation out of it, but yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. And then so I got to. After doing that Red Lodge thing, I got asked to play in the Yellowstone Songwriter Festival. The guys that did that branched out, and they've started one in Yellowstone and one up in Whitefish.
Oh, really?
And so I got to play the inaugural Songwriters Festival in Yellowstone, and got to play next to Susan Gibson, who wrote Wide Open Spaces for the Dixie Chicks. And
I know that song.
Right?
That's a pretty big one.
Right?
Yeah.
A couple people know that song.
Yeah.
Dave Munsick, who's the father of Ian Munsick, who is now just on, I don't know which label he's on, but he just sold out to Ryman and had Dad come down and play fiddle with him.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. So
that is so cool.
It's so cool. And 2 of the other Munsick brothers were in the Yellowstone Songwriter Festival when I was there.
Really?
They're real ranchers out there, and
out
there in
Wyoming.
Dad taught them all how to play guitar and sing, and
nice.
So they're just multi-talented. But yeah, I met a lot of cool songwriters out there that I still keep in touch with. Like Jackson, he just came in and played a show, and Chris Moyce, boy down there in Nashville, and Eric Stone. Eric and I wrote a song together called Kitchen Table. It's going to be probably the first single on this new album. And wrote it back during the pandemic. We were all losing people. And I wrote a couple of verses and a chorus, and I sent it to Eric and said, I just heard him singing it. And the forces that be, he got it on like a Sunday night or a Monday. I sent it to him, just a recording off my phone. And he had a family member or close family friend that got shot in that Boulder shooting at the grocery store.
I remember that.
And then he hears this, so it brings him to tears. So he puts a third verse on it about the empty chair at the kitchen table and sends it back to me. We have a couple phone calls. We put it together, and he goes, well, I was about to wrap up my album, but would you mind if I put this on there? I said, man, I'd be honored. So he put the song on so he made a recording of it, like instantly, of him and some backing instrument. And he put it on YouTube and had these little pictures, changes and whatever. And I'm like, this is so cool. We just wrote this thing, right?
Wow.
And then he's like, well, do you mind if I put it on the album? I said, I'd be honored. So he gets the band in there, and they start rehearsing it and whatever, and they record it. And the guy, my phone rings a couple days later. He goes, hey, Tay, the guys really like the song. Would you mind if they want to call the album Kitchen Table? Is that cool with you? And I was like, well, yeah, man. So Eric Stone and the Witness Protection Program, they have an album called Kitchen Table.
And that's our song you wrote.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's the first time that's happened.
So cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, were you planning on putting it on Bad Apple?
I'm planning on recording it too.
Okay.
So Yeah, look for that. That'll be coming. And we had, we got the tackle box, and I got to play the Palladium.
Yeah, tell me what. I mean, I feel like because I wanted to get to that second song, but this is going so great.
We could go.
No. Keep on going. I just I don't want to leave that thought there.
Okay,
We'll talk about that second song, but tell me about how did that happen with the
So
Palladium?
so when the pandemic came around, I think Carmel found themselves with a couple of facilities and staff members that didn't have anything to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they were probably trying to keep them on the payroll. So they're like, "Hey, why don't we do a live stream?" Because everybody was live streaming, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was just going nuts. So they decided to do it. And I think I saw Meg Christine Martin in the 1900s do it. And I was like, what is this? And I'm like, how do I get it? Friend of a friend of a friend. I got the email address for the lady. And I'm like, hey, this is back in like 21. I'm like, hey, can I do your thing? And she's like, yeah, we're all booked up for 21 and 22. And I'm like, okay, well, put me on for 23. Hey, Tay. A couple months later, hey, Tay, you want to do January in 23? I said, yes, man, we are there. So I put the tackle box together, met Scott Nelson up at Center Stage Guitars. Here's your plug, Kevin Heffernan. If you haven't been there, you need to go to that place. It's like an antique store for guitar collectors.
Huge props to Center Stage.
Fun.
Just a side note, I had a guitar, and this is an unpaid plug for Center Stage.
Yeah.
I had a guitar, my baby,
Yeah.
my very first guitar. I had it at practice, and it fell head first onto the stage.
Oh no!
Cracked the neck.
No.
And I was like, I
don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with this. I mean,
Kevin put it back together.
Oh my! And this is the thing. He asked me. He's like, do you want it fixed or do you want it to look like it never happened? Now, mind you, this isn't like a super expensive guitar.
You're just like, fix it.
But it's my baby. This is my muse.
Okay.
Like, it's the only guitar of mine that has a name.
You have him go full tilt on it?
I said, fix her up.
Oh, yeah.
And he did. It's like it never happened. And you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So, huge shout out to Kevin and Center Stage. You ever have a problem with a guitar, go there. It's in Noblesville, but it is worth it.
I have a 95 Guild that I've had every scratch and dent on it. I bought it brand new. And so it keeps finding its way. And it's not the easiest guitar to play, but I'm never going to get rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I know that feeling.
And we keep trying to lower the action on it, and then you lose the sound. And it's just, but I keep putting it in a corner, forgetting to throw humidifiers in it, and then it starts.
Oh, yeah.
So I just keep taking it back to Kevin. He's like, put some glue on it, a couple clamps. You'll be fine.
The dude is a genius. He is a genius luthier.
Yeah. Great luthier.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about?
I don't know.
The tackle box.
Yes,
so Scott, I met Scott
yes.
up there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Jason Barris on the keys and Matt DeVore's on the drums. On the first album, the amazing Tim Wright played steel, banjo, and dobro on the album. After I got the Palladium booked, the same people that booked the Palladium was booking Carmel Fest on July 4th.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, Tim, we got a big gig at the gazebo in Carmel Fest. And he's like, I'm playing. I'm like, well, what time are you playing? Because we're playing at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He goes, yeah, I actually got 2 gigs with this band. And he's playing with everybody. And I'm like heartbroken. I'm like, I can't play. So I start reaching out, and everybody, there's consensus, like, you need Joe Alteria. So I reached out to Joe. I said, hey, Joe, I really need a steel player. We're going to do a 1-hour set for Carmel Fest. It's not, I know I'm asking a lot. He says, well, send me your stuff. So I shot him a link to my stuff, on Spotify or whatever. And then I just sat there and waited.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It was
that is the worst feeling.
I was like, and then like 3 days later, I get this text from him, "Hey man, I really like your stuff."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah. Could we do, no, and I'm
Mhm.
in." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, man, let's do it." So he learned so now he had the
Has the
Drinks and
parts.
Memories
Yeah.
repertoire. And then I started sending him
New stuff.
the new stuff.
Yeah.
And we rehearsed and we got ready for Caramel Fest. We did okay. Then we did Porch Fest, and we were like, okay, here comes the big show. And we practiced our asses off for the Palladium show.
Yeah.
And well, that Snowmageddon came that we only got 3 inches, but everybody
Right.
canceled so they
yeah.
canceled the show.
I remember that.
So we were ready to go in January.
Yeah.
And they canceled the show.
But you got rescheduled, right?
Yeah, but what we did is sold like 350
Tickets?
tickets. So they're like, well, let's just move it over here to the Palladium. And we were like, hell yeah.
Oh.
But then it was like spring break week.
Oh.
So like
Spring break and
we
Carmel,
thought,
everyone
well, we've already
leaves.
sold 350, we're going to, and it was like
Yeah, tumbleweeds.
So we thought we were going to end up with and it was decent crowd. It was decent crowd.
Yeah.
But anything you got in that place is going to look tiny. And I'd just seen the Mavericks in like February, I think they came or something. I don't know. I remember I was on the advertising with the Mavericks for the Palladium that month. And I was like, check me out. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just hanging out, looking at my social feeds, and there's my picture with the Mavericks.
I swear, Tay Bronson is the man who happens to just run into some of the best things.
Yeah.
Glenn Phillips, Les Claypool, now the Mavericks. I mean, it's just
everybody. Yeah. I must be a magnet for meeting successful people. No,
or at least being aligned with them in some way.
guess.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. So do you think that there's ever a chance to play the Palladium again? Or I mean, where's Tay Bronson and the Tackle Box playing next?
That's a good question. I think we have a date on 15th of September at the American Legion here in no, not the Legion, the VFW here in Carmel.
Okay.
And it's for it's dropping. Anyway, it's for a non-for-profit organization, kind of a benefit ride and all that stuff. So it'll be
That's
cool.
very cool. You gonna be looking at playing Porch Fest again this year?
No, I didn't sign up.
Okay.
I didn't. I probably should have, but that was kind of a tough gig.
Oh, okay.
Roll your stuff in.
Yeah.
Get the other band out of the way, throw your stuff up, and they don't provide PA, so you're like trying to set up your own. It was kind of rough.
No, I can imagine that, and you don't probably have a whole lot of time to set up and take down, especially in between acts.
Yeah.
I signed up for it this year, but it was as a solo act.
So are you doing?
I don't know. I haven't heard back yet.
Oh,
but they should make their decision by I think August 1st is the timeline that they were kind of giving people. So we'll see if it works out. But at first I was thinking, have the whole band there, but my bassist is out of town that weekend. And
I play bass. Just kidding.
I already signed up as a solo act. If they approve, I mean, we'll have
I'll
to
go
see.
On. What's it pay?
Yeah, right. You know what it pays. You were part of it last year.
$12.
That's probably about it. Yeah. No. So how is the new album coming along?
Yeah. So it's like tracked. We got a bunch of stuff down. The band it's just going to be a capsule in time. Cause I mean, the band got really good at these songs, but we started recording them like the beginning of last year. So
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
They've kind of morphed, and it's kind of like, but I'm going to be releasing song by song the live version of our Palladium show on YouTube.
Really?
And we've gone in and remixed the audio.
Mm-hmm.
It was decent, but I'm just
sure, yeah,
now
Yeah,
that
no, I know what
you
you're
know,
talking
this
about.
guy's mixing on the fly and in the room and trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's recorded, we've kind of added some stuff to it. So I'm going to do a bunch of that. The whole show is out there right now. Center for the Performing Arts. If you just Google Tay, or if you just put in Tay Bronson on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
that's
It'll pop up.
it'll pop up.
All right.
It's really fun. It's a fun performance. It was a fun show, and you can see me in all my excitement, just laying out the first song, and then the band jumps in, and I get right up to the microphone, and I forgot what the words were.
Oh no!
First line, first song. I did
no.
like the whole phrase.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I just snapped right in, and that was pretty much it for the show. I think I may have fumbled over one more word.
But oh man, that
But it's right off the bat, and I'm just like, of course I did that.
yeah.
Of course I did that. Why would I?
See, I'm terrible with memorizing my lyrics.
I can't. I wouldn't be able to play out if it wasn't for these iPads.
Right? No, it's you know, I get made fun of a lot by the head engineer here at the engine room, because every time I'm recording a song, the vocals for the song, I have my iPad with me so that I can remember the lyrics. Because
Yeah.
I'm just
You know,
terrible.
Willie Nelson's never wrote a lyric down.
What? No.
If it's not good enough to remember, it's not good enough for the song.
Okay. That's a lot to live up to. I mean, good for Willie. I mean, that's ridiculously impressive.
Yeah, how do you edit?
I can't live up to that.
That's
but
crazy.
But that is amazing. Well, I did want to ask you about that last song that you did play for us. Let's circle back around to that one. That one seemed like it was kind of an emotional one.
Trips Around the Sun.
Yeah. Tell me about that one.
I'm not. I love, like I said, I love writing the love songs.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to be inspired by those. And, you know, like I've been fortunate to have some great experiences in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and experiencing how the other half lives.
Yeah.
My day job, I'm in the other half's houses most of the day, and
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
seeing how that top 1% live,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then I come home and I'm like, ugh, where did I go wrong, you know? But it's not, so I'm not trying to.
No,
I
know what you're saying. I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's a little bit.
I know what you mean.
But then, you know, think about it, you know, it's not really measured in all that, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of wrote it. My girlfriend wanted me to write her a song, and
Aw.
I did, yeah. And but then I kind of wanted to make it. I kept in the back of my mind, like, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
my cousin was getting married, and he wanted me, you know, he kind of, hey, we're gonna have the reception, you know, and boy, you know, if you're coming anyway, sure would be great if you could
No pressure.
play a song or two,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like,
no
okay,
pressure.
okay. So when I started writing, I was thinking, oh, I can play this at Brett's wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and Brent's wedding, and I'll be, you know. So I kind of kept it like open ended,
Yeah.
you know. There's no place better than a place called You and I,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So it could be about any relationship.
Sure.
Really, I'm not narrowing it down to a girlfriend. It could be about a father and daughter, a
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend and girlfriend, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Or just friends, even, you know.
Yeah.
You and me, there's no place else on earth that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. That's sweet.
You and me, we make it fun. We
Yeah.
take our trips around the sun. We don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We just hang out and, you know.
No, it's a good song, and
Thanks.
and that it really, I think, encapsulates what you're going for. You
Yeah.
know, it's a love song, but it can be about truly, like, you know, it's not about a specific, like, kind of relationship.
Right. Yeah.
It can be familial love. It can be,
Yeah.
you know, a partner and a partner. You know,
Uh-huh.
but it's sweet. and
Yeah.
it really captures what
Thank
I
you.
think you were going for.
Thanks.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
The thing I used to have to write, and I think it's with a lot of young songwriters, is you have to feel some connection, man.
Mhm.
Like, how am I connecting myself to this song in order to emote the dopamine or whatever in the
Yeah.
brain to get
Mhm.
you into the process, and then this is whatever. And so a heartbreak or a loss or something usually settles you down to get into that
Mhm.
mindset, right? Or
Mhm.
something. So I think the real pleasure for me has been how to remove myself from that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I'm going to put this thing together, and it doesn't have to be about me or anything that necessarily going on in my life. It's just, I'm writing a story,
Yeah.
like great creative writers do. They just write stories, man. And it doesn't, they make them up out of thin air. I mean,
It's true.
yeah.
That's true. So Tay, I close every show by asking my guests, is there anything that we've missed?
I don't think so.
Um,
If you want to hang out with me, um, I think I'm playing some VIP thing at Moondrops on the 4th. The Cleveland Music Festival is on the 15th.
of
And
August?
yeah,
August. Okay.
August. And then I think I'm at Primeval Brewing on the 25th and Sugar Creek Winery on the 26th of August. I think those are my next dates. I haven't played anywhere in like a month and a half because I've been traveling around the
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Midwest watching basketball. But
Which, I mean, as any good parent probably does this time of year,
right,
when they have student athletes of their own.
basketball or baseball or whatever,
Yeah.
volleyball.
Exactly. Well, good to know that this is where people can find you.
Yeah.
And again, reach out to Tay if you want to be part of the Moondrops Distillery
Yeah.
Riders in the Round. That is a
Instagram
tremendous.
or Tay Bronson Music on Facebook.
Mhm.
TayBronson.com is my email address. I don't know. What else do I need to tell them? Or just call Moondrops. Talk to Rachel.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I want to play that thing. And she'll give me your number.
They also have regular, just not just the.
Yeah, Saturday nights they do music. So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know how far they're booked out, but
But they do regular shows
they
there.
do regular shows there.
Cool.
And it's a really great place. Go check them out.
Yeah. And I believe that's probably going to do it for us. I need to check one thing real quick here because next week I want to make sure that I advertise properly. Who is it? Yes. Next week, my guest is going to be Aries El Oso. So that's going to be a fun show.
I played with Aries out at the Songwriters at the Stage Door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, you've played with everybody. You know everybody, Tay.
Well, I try to, be a part of the community.
You are.
So, and try and do things for my fellow songwriters. So,
and the one thing that I do appreciate about you is, I mean, you're based in Carmel, but you're doing stuff out east. With Moondrops. I mean, you're not keeping yourself located to one, specific area.
Yeah.
And so I think that's. How did you get connected with Moondrops?
That's
by the way,
my buddy Mark.
Oh, okay.
Is the proprietor. So he was, starting us up, and I'm like, okay, so when you get this thing, the tasting room open, I'm bringing my songwriter around to your thing. And he's like, what? What is it?
So he built that stage for you.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah. I pretty much told him,
backed
we
him
got to
into
do
it.
this. No, he's a huge music fan, and he just loves to have music out there. It just got open in January, and then St. Patty's Day.
I bet that was huge.
Well, he had us all. So he had me, Doug Henthorne, Chris Schaefer, Jenny DeVoe, and Sean Mullins.
Oh, I remember you talking about that show.
Yeah, so we were all just
that was huge.
Sitting there just watching. Yeah, great songwriter after great songwriter after great songwriter. play it, and then Sean closed it out. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
That is
he doesn't. I mean, he enjoys it. So
Mhm.
he's been in a few of these songwriters and rounds, and he appreciates it.
Mhm.
I'll keep doing it forever as long as people appreciate it. So come on out,
Yep.
support your fellow songwriters. Call me if you want to be in on it, and make sure you check out next week's
The show with Aries.
episode
Yeah.
with Aries. And I don't know, man. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
All right. Thank you, Tay.
Thank you, Josh.
Really appreciate you being
Yeah,
on the
thanks
show
for
this
having me.
week. And that's going to do it for us, folks. I really do appreciate you tuning in. Again, next week, my guest will be Aries Eloso. We are going to have a lot more coming up in the month of August. It's going to be a blast. So tune in for more that's going to be coming up. And this has been Tay Bronson. Check him out online. Drinks and Memories is available on Spotify or wherever you happen to stream music.
All your streaming services.
Yep. That's going to do it for us. See you guys.
Bye. Friends.